Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Worthy Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Sajid Mahmood Shehzad, Secretary General Minhajul Quran International, Khurram Nawaz Ghanapur, Honorable guests, dignitaries, flag officers of Pakistan Navy, especially Rear Admiral HUSSAIN Mahmood, Vice Admiral Ahmed Saeed, Honorable Consul Generals, Consul General of Turkey, Consul General of Iran, academics, professors, staff members of Karima, and honorable participants of this beautiful conference. First of all, I would like to congratulate the team members of Karima under the supervision of worthy Vice Chancellor for organizing such a beautiful and I would say successful conference on a very hot and important topic, not just for Pakistan, but for the whole world. And I believe this center has a lot to play as a role in near future for the country in terms of developing and forming policy-related work for the country and the government. So their intellectual efforts in the form of journals and other literature produced by this center would certainly benefit Pakistan and other countries associated and related to the country. Dear audience, I would like to begin my presentation with the verse of Holy Quran, in which Allah Almighty states, and He is the one who has subjected the seas as well, so that you may eat fresh seafood from there, and may take out from them gems that you wear as ornaments. And O man, you see the vessels and ships that spears through the water, and all this has vanished so that you may look for His bounty, and also that you may become thankful. I believe for a Muslim or a believer, this verse lay the foundation for the development related to the economy, which is called the blue economy. Some might ask, what is blue economy? The blue economy refers to the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihood, and jobs while preserving the health of ocean ecosystem. It includes various activities such as fishing, shipping, tourism, and energy which is generated from the sea. The idea is to balance economic development from ocean-based industries with a need to protect and maintain the marine environment. The maritime space is one of the preeminent avenues for economic growth on the planet. The gross value of goods produced in coastal and marine areas in the world are valued in billions of dollars. Fisheries produce around 30% of global animal protein intake. Livelihood of millions of small-scale fisher people are created, and countless number of people are employed in associated industries. According to United Nations Environment Program report in 2014, which highlights that 10% increase in global fishery production would result in the increase of around $50 billion annually worldwide fishery export. Dear audience, this was a little summary of the worth and the capacity of this sector we all are looking into today. Let's go into the history. So we will see throughout the history, Muslims have played a significant role in boosting the blue economy through their advancements in seafaring, trade and maritime technologies. Believing in the word of Allah Almighty, from the 8th to 15th century, Muslim seafarers dominated the seas, exploring and mapping vast stretches of the ocean. For example, Ahmad ibn Majid, who was active in the 15th century, was renowned for his expertise in navigation, and his navigational text was popular, named Kitabul Fawaid fi Usulul Ilm al-Bahr wal Qawaid, became a cornerstone for sailors in Indian Ocean. In terms of shipbuilding, the introduction of Latin sail and its subsequent development by Muslim shipbuilders enhanced the agility and speed of ships, which was crucial for guiding in the monsoon winds of Indian Ocean. In fact, Muslim seafarers, traders, scholars from 8th to 15th century set the stage for the connected global economy, contributing significantly to maritime legacy and shaped modern navigation and global trade networks. Measurements and navigation at sea was further refined by figures like Al-Khwarizmi and Al-Biruni. Notable explorers and cartographers such as Al-Idris, they were instrumental in producing detailed maps that improved the accuracy of sea and land routes. His detailed map, which was called Tabula Georgiana, was an incredible detailed world map that was used extensively by travelers and scholars worldwide. If we talk about Abbasids time period, so under the Abbasids, the Islamic world became an important center for trade, connecting the east and western cities like Baghdad, Cairo, and Cordoba, became the hub for commerce and culture. The development of business class, including merchants like Ibn Habakal, who was a 10th century traveler, writer. He documented various trade routes in his work called Suratul Ard, the face of earth, the work called, which described the economic conditions of Islamic world and beyond. After that, the Ottomans were known for their strong naval power, which was crucial in controlling the Mediterranean and Black Seas. They dominated the Mediterranean during the 16th century by securing Ottoman routes for trade and military movements. The empire's strategic position connected Europe with Asia and Africa, allowing it to control and flourish in the spice trade and other valuable commodities. Dear audience, in 15th century, Ahmad ibn Majid, who was also known as the Lion of the Sea, was an Arabian navigator and poet whose work helped to improve the European navigational techniques. Why we all are looking into this history? So that we would know that wherever we stand today, that wasn't the space and that wasn't the place for the Muslim world. We were something else. But unfortunately, today our powers related to ocean, navigational powers, technology, shipbuilding powers and everything else, that is on a different level. Again, this is something we can achieve if we could all come together to develop our technologies, work scientifically hard on unity as well as on our sciences and technologies, so this all can come back. So the person Ahmad ibn Majid's works basically helps the European navigational techniques. His knowledge was possibly utilized by Vasco da Gama as well, who managed to reach India by circling around the Cape of Good Hope. Another figure, Ali Rais, was an Ottoman admiral and navigator whose writings, including the Mir'atul Mamalik, provided a valuable information about Indian Ocean to all these navigators of oceans. Historically, Muslim civilizations dominated maritime trade and technology for several years. However, centuries I would say. However, with the emergence of European power during the age of exploration, the balance shifted towards Western countries. The European advancement in navigation, shipbuilding and trade networks allowed them to establish colonial empires and dominate global maritime trade as well. As the European nations started experimenting with adapting new technologies like caravel, which allowed for a longer transoceanic voyage, Muslim shipbuildings and navigation techniques began to stagnate. The decline in innovation can be partially attributed to the relative isolation of some Muslim countries and regions from the technological developments occurring in Europe. By the 17th century, European naval forces made Muslim countries and their powers deteriorate. From technological advancements and territorial control of key maritime routes, the Battle of Lepanto in 1571, where a coalition of Western countries decisively defeated the Ottoman Navy, marked a turning point in Mediterranean naval dominance. Moreover, the inability to control piracy and maintain secure trades routes further diminished these Muslim countries' maritime supremacy. What lessons we can learn from this history? The decline in Muslim maritime affairs. The history teaches us a critical lesson about the importance of technological adaptation and political unity in maintaining economic and military power. In contemporary times, there is a renewed interest in revitalizing maritime heritage in a Muslim world. For instance, initiatives like modern reconstruction of traditional dhows in countries like UAE symbolizes a desire to reconnect with the innovative upon their rich maritime history. Additionally, current investments in maritime infrastructure in the Middle East and Southeast Asia indicates a potential for resurgence in maritime activity influenced by historical precedents. Let's talk about Pakistan. Pakistan's geographical location along the Arabian Sea marks its major seaport crucial for trade. The most significant is Karachi Port, which is the oldest and busiest port, handling about 60% of national cargo. The economic impact of Port of Karachi is substantial, contributing significantly to Pakistan's GDP. The port and its related activities are estimated to provide employment to over 500,000 people, both directly and indirectly. This includes jobs in logistics, warehousing, and transport, and other services that support port and maritime operations. As a strategic asset for Pakistan, the Port of Karachi not only facilitates the bulk of Pakistan's maritime trade, but also serves as a critical endpoint for Belt and Road Initiative, enhancing its regional and international trade connectivity. If we talk about Gwadar Port, the Gwadar Port is positioned on the southwestern coast of Pakistan in the Balochistan province, represents a significant strategic and economic asset for the country. It forms a crucial component of a China-Pakistan economic corridor, which aims to facilitate trade along an overland route that connects Gwadar to China by passing longer maritime routes. The operational aspect of Gwadar port is expected to generate substantial employment opportunity for the country, which is estimated to around 40,000 jobs, thus significantly contributing to the local and national economy. Gwadar also holds immense potential as a tourism and investment hub, similarly to the growth seen in Dubai. With its strategic coastal location and picturesque scenery, there is a considerable scope for developing leisure resorts, marina, and leisure facility that can transform the port into a premier tourist destination as well. The strategic development includes enhancing infrastructure such as hotels, beach sites, attractions, and recreational areas for the country, which not only boost tourism but also creates numerous job opportunities in hospitality and service sector. Gwadar Port and the China-Pakistan economic corridors are a key to Balochistan's economic transformation as well, making the region a critical hub for maritime and overland routes in Asia. This was something we talked about, which is related to our history, which is related to the potential which Pakistan and its ports carry. Let's talk about some of the challenges we all are facing today. The major challenges include insufficient cargo handling. Pakistan's ports, particularly Karachi Port and Port Qasim, faces with slow and inefficient cargo handling. This is largely due to outdated equipment and manual processes such as insufficiencies which can cause significant delays in loading and unloading goods, leading to increased costs and reduced competitiveness in international trade. Limited container capacity. Compared to regional giants like Singapore and Shanghai, Pakistan's port has much lower container handling capacity. This limitation restricts the volume of goods that can be processed, impacting Pakistan's ability to engage in higher volume international trade. Lack of facilities for fishing. The port provides insufficient support facility for fishing industry, such as cold storage, ice plants, and processing units. This lack of infrastructure leads to a decrease in the quality and quantity of fish that can be exported by Pakistan. Poor maintenance is another issue. The fishing harbor, like those in Karachi, often suffer from neglect, with which such a pollution, silation, and indicates waste disposal facilities affecting the overall efficiency and hygiene of fishing operations in the country. Inadequate dredging. Many of Pakistan's ports require dredging to maintain their depth for accommodating large vessels. However, inconsistent and inadequate dredging leads to navigational challenges. Aging infrastructure at the ports. Much of the infrastructure at these ports, including jetties, warehouses, are aging and not well maintained, leading to safety concerns and operational insufficiencies. Lack of automation. Unlike modern ports, which employ automated systems for logistics and cargo handling, Pakistani ports still rely heavily on manual processes. This not only slows down the operations, but also increases the potential for human error as well. Inadequate IT systems. The technological framework for tracking, handling, and clearing cargo is outdated in Pakistan. There is a crucial need for investment in IT infrastructure to streamline operations and improve security and tracking of shipments. Another issue which is underdeveloped tourist facilities. Ports like Gwadar, despite having a significant potential for tourism due to their scenic coastal links and lines, lack the necessary tourist facilities. This includes absence of entertainment, leisure activities, quantity of accommodation, and tourist-friendly services, which other countries who have a beautiful coastal lines, they invest in these kind of facilities, which brings them a lot of revenue related to tourism. But we have been neglecting this sector for a very long time. Security concern is another major issue. Security issues at and around the ports can deter international tourists, impacting the growth of tourism sector linked to maritime activities. So we have talked about challenges. Let's talk about the reasons behind these challenges. Limited budget is one of the major reasons. Pakistan's federal budget for fiscal year 2021 and 22 allocated only a small portion to maritime affairs, significantly less compared to other sectors. Allocation of priority is another issue. Despite the strategic importance of maritime trade, which contributes significantly to Pakistan's GDP, the maritime sector alone contributes around $2 billion in Pakistan's GDP. So the needed budget was not allocated, and that has never been a priority somehow by the governments. Bureaucratic inefficiency is another issue. World Bank reports suggest that the bureaucratic processes in Pakistan can delay projects by several years, impacting timely modernization of these ports and their infrastructure. Corruption is another issue. Transparency International 2020 report places Pakistan at 124th number in 180 countries in the Corruption Perception Index, indicating high level of corruption which affect infrastructure projects including ports, delivery, cargo system, and generally at large the trade through cargoes. Logistical coordination is another issue which our ports and maritime sector in Pakistan is facing. There is a lack of integrated logistics information system which in modern ports such as those in Singapore reduces container dwell time to less than a day, whereas in Pakistan sometimes it takes weeks to get the containers and shipments cleared. Let's talk about the regional competition. Ports like Jebel Ali in Dubai and Port of Columbia in Sri Lanka handle thrice the containers traffic of Karachi port, owing to better infrastructure and strategic management. Jebel Ali, for example, handles 13.5 million TEUs, which is 20-foot equivalent units, in 2020 compared to Karachi's 4 million TEUs. Similarly, Singapore's implemented extensive automation and state-of-the-art technological solutions such as automated cranes and driverless trucks to increase efficiency and reduce handling time. If we talk about Netherlands, so environmental initiatives, a great green initiatives have been taken by the Netherlands and their ports. They invested in sustainable technologies and practices, becoming a leader in green port operations. They also developed a port exchange, a platform to improve logistical efficiency through digitalizing and data sharing among port users. And not just that, if we talk about our neighbor country, India, so they wanted to develop, modernize and digitize their ports. So what they did, they came up with PPP, which is public-private partnership. For example, the port of Jawaharlal Nehru and Mundra, they have extensively utilized public and private partnership model to attract investment for infrastructure and technological upgrades. This is something a country faces. No investment, no development. So they came up with a solution with public and private investment to develop these ports, which is bringing a lot of revenue to these ports for the country. Dredging, they also worked hard and invested on dredging and infrastructural expansion. Now the both ports have undertaken significant dredging projects to accommodate larger ships. Another sector which was technology integration, the Indian ports they invested, implemented advanced terminal operation system and RFID for tracking, managing containers flows. Now I would like to briefly give some suggestions and recommendations as a policy so that those could be looked into by the relevant corridors in the country. Pakistan should focus on long-term projects like comprehensive port modernization projects with following objectives: increase container and cargo handling capacity, improve efficiency and reduce cargo dwell time, enhance infrastructure and adopt modern technologies, develop sustainable and secure port environment, boost tourism and community engagement. Automate cargo handling, implement automated quay, cranes and driverless trucks similar to Port of Singapore to reduce handling time and improve operational efficiency. Expand and modernize infrastructure. Regular dredging programs should be run at all the important ports of the country. Public-private partnership is something we all need in the country for every sector. But today this is something recommended for the maritime industry. Encourage public and private partnership to attract private investment, expertise and operational efficiency similar to the models used in India. Government funding, international investment and loans. Allocate a higher percentage of budget to maritime infrastructure. International investment, seek maximum grants, and country can seek maximum grant on this subject if they could initiate the development or infrastructure development project at the ports. So the world and countries would be interested. This is something which can interest and seek attention of the world, because this is something potential they could all look at, that whatever we are investing we can always earn back. So this is something, if we could seek grants from international community on the development of this infrastructure, I believe Pakistan can get good grants. Streamline operations, establish a centralized port authority. This is a suggestion. So the centralized port authority to reduce bureaucratic inefficiency and improve decision-making process in the country. Implement a strict, independent anti-corruption measures to ensure transparency and accountability in port operations and development of projects. This is a known fact and not a hidden secret that how much corruption goes on at ports and what happens and how and who makes money there. So this is an open secret. It is important to support this structure and infrastructure and attract the relevant investment at the ports. So we have to be strict about anti-corruption policies related to the trade as well as the ports. Sustainable practice is necessary to be introduced in Pakistan. Invest in green technologies and process to make ports environment friendly. Implement waste management and pollution control measures at the ports. Work with international maritime organizations to improve security standards and cooperation. Like Gwadar has a potential to become a tourist hub. So develop resorts, marinas, recreational facilities to attract tourists and boost local economy, which is very important. Central cultural attractions and museums dedicated to maritime history and local seafaring and tradition is important. Emulate Dubai integration of luxury resorts, Singapore's Marina Bay Sands model to blend port activities with high value tourism. Develop world-class facilities including upscale accommodation, leisure activities and secure marinas to attract international tourists. Launch targeted marketing strategies that spotlight Gwadr's unique culture and scenic attraction, positioning it as a must-visit destination, which is important for the country today. Ensure sustainable development by involving local communities in the planning process. This is something really important which we all need to look into. Local communities must be included in the planning process of Gwadr as well as other regions where the ports are located. And modernizing and expansion of port would require a large workforce, potentially creating 25,000 to 50,000 new direct jobs in maritime industry of Pakistan. Improved port efficiency and increased trade can stimulate job creation in ancillary sectors such as logistics, constructions and trade service. This could lead to an additional 100,000 to 500,000 jobs nationally over the next decades if timely decisions are made by the power corridors. At the end, I would like to say Pakistan's ports, pivotal for trade given their strategic positions along the Arabian Sea, face a multitude of challenges that hamper their efficiency and capacity. Drawing inspiration from the port's modernization strategies employed by the global leaders like Singapore, Sri Lanka, Netherlands, and other parts of the world, Pakistan should have a clear blueprint for transformation in its maritime affairs. And to have that clear blueprint and policy development, this center at Minhaj University, Lahore, it is there for the country, for the government, for the policy making. We will extend our hands and assistance at any level where and when country, Pakistan needs us. Thank you very much.